Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Shapes 2 video. Today we'll be going through a few more side tasks. This is where we left off last time, which we'll get rid of all of this quite soon. But let's first have a quick look at the shapes we'll be building today. First off, we have the Shapes 6 logo. And no, that does not mean there is a shape 6 coming out. I think that just means there's 6 pieces to this shape. So we've got a full white shape down the bottom, but consisting of 2 different shapes, some pins, and then the same shape again, except this top shape has 3 separate colors. Second in the 3 shapes that we're going to be building today is the color matrix, with the end result looking pretty cool actually, but not necessarily simple. We're doing lots of different colors here. And last but not least, we have the final number 30 side task shape before the next milestone. What is that called? Anger the Fallen. So spooky. You can see the angry face there. It's pretty cool. Okay, let's pin our first shape, number 28, the Shapes 6 logo, and get to work. I'll clear this up and I'll be back with you guys in just a sec. Okay, we've got some space for our workstation now. Let's zoom in over here, and we're looking at this shape again. So first we're looking at the shapes required. We've got at least 2 hexagons with little triangles, so we'll need to route 2 in, and then we could probably just get away with the 1 gear shape, but we'll need 4 separate color stations at least. Okay, not too bad. Why don't we start with some paint? We've got some painting stations here. We need 4 different colors. We'll just put it like that for now. We need 3 different colors. Of this, and 2 of the gear as well. So let's route these first 2 hexagons into the paint stations, and then I think what I'd prefer to do with the gears is not paint them first. No, I mean we can still do that, because you no, because this 4th shape here is uncolored, and that's something we can't undo if we paint it. So we're going to need to separate it first. So let's get rid of that and find the appropriate cutting tool. Now we need just the 2. We don't need any flowers here, so we don't need to worry about room up here. So one of these 2 will indeed be painted. But the other will not. The other let's move these across just slightly. Down and across. Because we want a 3rd line of the hexagons, I think. No, that's going to be too much. Never mind. We'll take from here instead. Okay, let's get some of these paint colors in so we can more easily visualize what we're trying to do here. We have red. We want teal up here. Okay, so we got red here. We've got cyan coming through just now. Perfect. And then for this first, what am I doing? Let's change that. Sorry about that, guys. We do not want cyan there. We want it down here, actually. This one, we actually want yellow. Not that we need that right now, but let's clear all of that up. Okay, now that's out. Let's think about rotating that in the right direction. Once clockwise looks good. That should be that shape there. Let's get this out of the way. Oh, actually, we don't need to do that. Just need this. So we're then cutting it and then we're rotating, but we want to be rotating counterclockwise because this will come out in this orientation. And then once they're rotated appropriately, we can simply combine them like so. That's that one complete. We'll also funnel that straight into, so we can start delivering that. Never mind. We forgot about the pins. That's an easy fix. Let's get the pins up. That's number 6. Pin here, pin here. There we go. Alright, so this is not yellow. Let's fix that. Now what have we got over here? We want that in a different orientation, so we're going down, and then over here we're going to need a new cutter, which is, I mean that'll work, but we don't need the second portion. So let's bring this down here. And I think we want to rotate that as well. Now I do eventually need to paint this white, but not yet. The first 8,000 need to be uncolored. And it's just the top shape that has pins, so we don't need to worry about putting extra pins down the bottom. Let's just have a look at how that turns out before we start stacking it up. Both of these are counting up now. Is a good sign. We are only going to need a third of this belt because we're cutting it. And we want that rotated 180 degrees. And then we'll just duck it through here. And then of course we want the pins on that as well. And when this is complete, we can delete that, bring that across and stack it again. Okay, is that the right orientation? Yep, looks good to me. Let's bring that across. And the painter will go in here somewhere. But all of that will be stacked as well once we've got the rest organized. But for now, we can let that run. Let's have a look at our second side shape, the color matrix. Let's pin these two. I think you want to start off doing the same thing. Coloring the full shapes before then splitting it off. So for this shape we're going to need one full hexagon and one full gear. We're going to need to split the hexagon up into 6. And we'll need the gear too. We'll probably put the gear out here somewhere. And then the hexagon will split up. Something like that. Let me fix that up. Okay, that looks a bit better, but this paint is going to be a bit of a pain, I think. Alright, so the gear needs to be white. That's convenient. Throw that in there. And then each one of these needs to be a different color. So let's try and make it as easy as possible for us. Actually, let's try and plan this out. We want the far left to be the 3 primary colors, I think. And then yellow, cyan, magenta, or purple. And I want that in that order because that's the order they appear. And we'll be going from left to right. So purple's over here. Then we have cyan. Let's make sure that we'll be going underneath all of that. Next up is yellow. Okay, while we're building this and belting our colors across, we've picked up our first stage of this shape, which we can now get rid of. Which means we can also now start making the next step right here and have that directly fill into our hub. Okay, I might pause this and do some squiggly routing. This may take a little while. Alright, this is the monstrosity that we've built. It's got Colors going everywhere. Oh, we obviously don't want that actually connected to anything. Oh dear. But at least we have all the paint that should be routed in correctly now. Routed in correctly. That's what I meant to say. We've also got our second shape complete, so we can get rid of this. We're going to have to move that back. And we want this one underneath. So left on top. Oops. There we go. And then that could be routed back in. Okay. We've got all our colors. That's something. And most of these we can cut up the line a bit. So I'd prefer to do that. Let's find the single cutter. Now we obviously just need one for each of these. Poor purple has to go all the way down here. Oh, and actually we don't need that at all. We've got that full shape, of course. Okay, so here is our first set of 3 triangles. The red one is going to be what? Doesn't look right. Neither does that. What's going on here? Oh, because we hadn't cleared them before. There again, false alarm. Let's press I on all of those. That's better. Don't need these anymore. We want the blue rotated 120 anti-clockwise. And the green 120 clockwise. And now we can start combining them together. Beautiful. Now each of these extra pieces needs to be added on one at a time. So we'll pair these back a little bit and put the pins in now, because each one of them has a pin underneath. And they'll all get stacked, combined with this. Once we finish the one with the yellow, we can combine them up here. Let's see. Probably here is fine. And then once that's done, we can combine the purple as well. Let's see if I add this in. I think that's fine and doesn't break anything. Ah, we've forgotten something. We haven't rotated our other shapes yet. We haven't rotated any shapes yet. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's not do that just yet. Let's bring all of this down at least one. Maybe two. And this as well. The reason for that is we're pinning them, but we're not rotating them. So the yellow shape needs to be rotated clockwise, only by 60 degrees, like so, and then it can be fed into here. As for the teal, we want 180. That is all wrong, so we'll clear that up. And for the magenta, we want anti-clockwise or counterclockwise, just the 60. Okay, got this shape complete now, so we can get rid of that and just go straight into this stacker here, and that one's pretty close too. Where is our white? Got that. Flip, rotate, rotate. Throw that in. That should be that done then. So a quick snapshot of what we've... Oh no, I won't do that just in case it's not right. We've started ticking up with just the yellow, and hopefully we'll be ticking up with this one very soon as well. I haven't put this line in yet because we still have this line with just the yellow, and if we add just the yellow to the purple, that's not a real shape. Not one that, well, it is a real shape. It's not one that they want, but we'll leave that there as a placeholder when these whites come down. Now that is 2 of 3, but we do still have a third one to start creating. So why don't we pin that and just start drafting. We're obviously not going to be able to start actually making it yet. Let's have a quick look. So we'll need at least 1 hexagon, but I might grab 2. We'll need 1 gear shape, and then one flower shape. Then we're adding a couple of pins to the top 2 layers before placing them on top of the rest. And we've got a simple 3 colors. Let's fix up this now that that's complete. We do not want any more plain shapes, so just the whites now. And the whites are ticking up, so yes, this is accurate now. Do we have a full belt? We do. Fantastic. Okay. So this is the build. Stacker, stacker, another stacker here and one here. And I believe that those are pins. Some rotators to get them in the right orientation. Another rotator, rotator, and then paint here. And cutters here. And a different cutter there. Cool. Glad that's working out for us. For this next shape, see the shape underneath here? I just want to basically create that straight away. And the reason for that is we have it all the way along, and then the only difference with these first three is that it's cut in half here. So we'll basically be creating this shape from the get-go, the bottom one, and then just halving it. I think that's the best way to go. Which means we want to cut two portions out of the hexagon shape. And then adding the gear before we do any coloring later on. Alright, we've got our next shape complete. Let's unlock that and get rid of just the yellows. There we go. Which means we can now funnel this in so that we'll start making use of the purples. Okay, so let's pretend this is hexagons and this is gears. So we want to cut it first. And we've got another hexagons over here. And we'll be able to cut with that the red shape later on. The red two triangles. We're going really quickly and getting these other shapes out of the way. We now no longer need this one. So it's just with the purple now, and then with the gears on top. Because that's the case, can filter this in now too. Okay, so just to reiterate, hexagon, hexagon, gears. So for the gears, we want a two-part shape, and we want that twice. There we go. One of those is remaining uncolored for now. And we're going to be combining these two, but I'm just looking at the orientation. This is going to come out with the top right two segments missing, which means we're going to need to rotate it 120 degrees, twice clockwise. And then the gears here, they're going to come out top right as well, but we want them bottom middle, so we'll do the same. We'll rotate twice. And then we just want to combine them. Which we can do like so. And then all of a sudden, ignore all of this. With the white shape, that's what we'll end up with here. Except it won't be white, of course. And all we'll need to do with that for now is actually cut it again. And we only want the right hand half, so we'll trash the left hand side, and we'll belt that in. And that should be the start of our next shape. Right, so what have we got left then? For this third lane here, we will give us a little bit more space, because we're going to want to paint this red, because this lane is going to end up with this little red 2 gears here. So we'll need a painter, of course, which you can throw in there. And before I do that, I'd like to rotate it at the same time. And we want that in the same orientation, so we can just copy and paste from the left hand side. We're painting red. We also want a pin on top, so we'll add that too. And pardon me, I said on top, but I meant on the bottom. And then we can add this to this row after we pull that down. So we'll indicate that like so. I see, so this far right lane is hexagons. We're cutting it into a bow tie shape, which is this middle shape here. And then that's going to be in the correct orientation, I believe. So we're just going to paint that and paint it red as well. Which means you may want to extend this out a little bit more so that when our red comes in, let's say the red comes in here, it's plugged in, it can also come across like that and get plugged in over here as well. Okay, let's pause this design. We've got the last of the Shapes 6 logo. Fantastic. Which means we no longer have to theory craft upstairs without some pipes actually making it in. And it's still going at full pace, that's a good sign. Let's get rid of all of this. Aha. Oh, that's not good. This hasn't gone up at all. What have I missed here? Was I pinning this shape? Nope. Of course not. Okay, let's do it down here. Let's get the pins in. My mistake. There you go, that should fix that section. Now we no longer need that bypass because we've finished all of that. Okay. Now back to our build. Let's copy and paste that. And this should be here. Now we want that to be red. That's supposed to go into the hub, I believe. and any mistakes we'll quickly pick up and fix. So that's red as well, in the correct orientation. No pins required for that triangle. So we do want it connected to this, so we could actually no, that's not a stacker. Combine it like that. Bring it across. And we want the right on top here. We'll come down like so. Does that look right? So far so good. Okay, we only have the right shape at the moment. Ah, yes, I forgot about that. Let's not do that just yet. Because once we've finished with this, we'll need to remove that and do it again later. Because right now, as you can see, we are already ahead in steps. We need to backtrack and cut half of that off. But for now, we just wait for that to fill up. You might be wondering, why don't I rotate this and combine it? Well, because that's not actually the same shape. If we rotate the left-hand side 180 degrees, then it's going to look like that. And that is not the same as this, unfortunately, because of that oddity. Because if we rotate the right hand this way, we've got the gear in the wrong place. While we wait for that to fill up, let's see what's next. That should all be done now. It's really just the yellow teardrops with some pins underneath. So we've already creating this shape here, so let's just do it again. Bring it over here, we'll get the teardrops in like so. We want yellow. And then from there we want pins. Really running out of space though. We'll get to it. This is almost done now. We should have checked this earlier, but do we have a full input? We certainly do. Okay, that's all complete. Let's have a quick squeeze at... Don't look too long, it's ugly. Okay. Okay. So we have the hex shape just being split into 6 and then painting each individual one before we cut it. Which is reducing our paint consumption rate by... We're reducing it to 25%. Wait. We're reducing it by a factor of 6. There we go. That'll work. So we got paint coming in first, then we're cutting it down to size, and these are not wasting anything. So we're throttling the throughput 6 times over, but we're getting a great amount of those little sections here. We're rotating all the necessary pieces and pinning them, then combining this section, the first and the second section, and then adding the white gears on top. Easy. Let's clear this up now. Let's pretend that never happened. Color matrix is done, and so is that, which means you can cut that, bring this all the way down, let's bring this across actually. And for now, leave it like that. That's the shape we're creating, just cut it in half. Next step will be to paint this shape, and we're going to be painting that white. Okay. Looking pretty solid. Play the waiting game. Now that looks right from here at least. Great. Alrighty. Next stage is down, which means we can remove nothing but add this. Well, technically we are removing those two pieces. We're just simply painting that now, but otherwise doing exactly the same as before. Next part is now done. Now we can stop cutting our shape in half. Sounds pretty good to me. Let's throw that directly in, while also using this to stack this part of the shape. So we can start working on this final one as well. Now this obviously won't be full. It was briefly before we split it off. But if that's half, we're doing well. Perfect. And that should be the other half here shortly. Let's just make sure that this shape is the one that we want. Nope, glad we checked. Glad we checked. Because we had the wrong thing going on top. You obviously want the yellow on top, and that was not happening. So this new one though, and that looks better. Okay. Let's leave that to run, and then we can clean up when it's all done. We'll be removing that. And that marks the end of the third side task. I've gone ahead and delete that, and we now have both complete. This should be, yes, full 12 belts. It's fantastic. Now this was definitely best to be done backwards. So starting with this shape here. Otherwise, if we just started with this, we'd then have to make the whole second side of the shape. It's way better to do it this way and then just delete the left hand side half with the first three, so I'd highly recommend that. This is the basic setup. So we've got bunch of cutters up here. I believe that's rotators. Yep, initially. Some painters here and here, and I think a couple of pin stations here with some stackers to combine everything together. There we are. Let's get our workstation ready for our next video. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and for sticking to the end, those of you that did. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a great rest of the week, last week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.